hello, it's the Friday, no, ha! It's the, what the hell day is it? Sunday Speakie? Something like that, I don't know, call it what you like, it's me talking to you. So my hiatus lasted a little bit longer than I had in mind. I was only going to have 2 weeks, but my timing was bad because at the end of that 2 weeks the schools came out on holiday and Andrea is a teacher, so that meant she was home for 2 weeks and I spent time with her and not making videos. And we went on holiday last week, which was really cool. Those of you who follow me on Twitter will have seen a stream of strange and bizarre photos being uploaded on Instagram. Hey, there's a thing. Facebook have bought Instagram. I hope they don't wreck it because I really like it. Yeah, some of you will know I have other channels other than this one, and will have seen that there is a video of a Scarborough trip on there. Those of you who don't, well, I have... This is kind of turning into a really random waffle, actually. Shameless self-promotion here. I've got 2 other channels. One of them, Benway's World. That's where the holiday videos go, and all the other random stuff that I do that isn't gaming related. I have another channel which I wasn't going to promote on here, and I can't remember if I changed my mind since then and already have, but I'm going to tell you again. There's a channel called Isambard Montague. I'll put links to them all down there, which is a satirical, it's a political satirical thing, puppet based kind of Muppet thing, that is not entirely popular and I understand some people don't like it. It's very much an acquired taste, but if you're remotely curious, take a look, and if you're not, don't. So what can I tell you? I have had, in the past month, I really got away from the YouTube thing. I mean, my break really was a break. I don't know what's been happening in the community. I've watched maybe half a dozen videos here or there, just gameplay things, if someone's put up a gameplay and stuff like that. And the Lawn Boys post intro, that was fun, doing that. So I don't know what's going on. Very, very detached. Got to get back into the swing of things. Things that have happened. Yes, just after I went on hiatus, Retro Gamer magazine, RetroGamerVX, TheEPROM9 and myself were featured. Yeah, just got our photos and a few words on page 29. Now, if you haven't bought it and seen it already and thought, hold on, I know that ugly git, yeah, we're in there. We get to say a few words. I want to say, I've said thank you on every other format that I do stuff on here, but I'm going to say it on here to Mike. He has a YouTube channel, Rider Mike. I'll link down there. I mean, I'll link to everything down there. He's got a load of, I didn't actually realise until recently, he's got a load of videos on there, chiptunes he does, with there are videos and things with them. I was watching one last night because it's got Hunter on the Amiga, and I love that game, so I was sitting watching him playing Hunter, or someone playing Hunter. I assume it was Mike playing it. Anyway, yeah, check that out if you're into your chiptunes. Really cool guy. He does, God. I have mixed feelings about the magazine Retro Gamer, because while I love the articles, like the ones that Mike does, in-depth, knowledgeable histories of classic hardware, I find a lot of other aspects of the magazine a little bit iffy. But anyway, far be it from me to slag off the only magazine on the topic of our favourite hobbies, so I won't. It was great to be in that article, and I'm really thankful to Mike for putting me in there, because that was really cool. It's weird actually, because for all that I have certain reservations about certain aspects of the magazine, I've got a massive great big pile of them. I buy it on principle, really. I've got, like, I think I started collecting around about issue 9 when it was like the previous publisher before it went bust and then was resurrected. So I've got a lot of that. I think I'm since issue 9. I'm perhaps missing only 1 or 2 issues, something like that. Yeah, waffling now. Moving on to another subject. Can't remember what it is. That's kind of crap, isn't it? Yeah, what else has been happening? Oh, yes, right. Game and Game Station kind of went bust and have been saved. Load of their shops closed. Game Station in Scarborough's shut, but Game is still open. Shame, because I prefer Game Station. Game Station in Worksop is still open, I think. There were Game had 2 in Sheffield Meadowhall and a Game Station, so like 3 stores in one shopping centre. It's no bloody wonder they went bust. That's just stupid. Oversaturation of the market. No wonder they had financial trouble. And they would blame downloads and online purchasing and all that lot for their difficulties. I say bollocks. It's just piss poor management. When you've got 3 of the same shop in one shopping centre, you're being stupid. So I went into Game in Scarborough just to have a look. Oh God, they ain't gonna survive. If that's the kind of shop that they're gonna run, that was rubbish. Lots and lots of shelf space full of lots and lots of the same game. It's just like really the latest, or the latest ones that they can get hold of anyway, which probably ain't many. I just walked around and it was sad. It was really sad. If they survive, I'll be amazed. And it's a damn shame. The thing with this, and I think I spoke about this in a previous talk, the planned PS4 with no, like, it's going to be all download and or it won't play second-hand games and all of this lot, makes me mad. And I've got to think, well, there isn't going to be a hardware-based games market left if Game and Game Station go the way they look like they're going anyway. It's poor. It's piss poor. It makes me mad. And I was kind of amused a couple of weeks ago because I saw a tweet by David Braben, legendary creator, co-creator of Elite, involved with the Raspberry Pi and numerous other great legendary gaming type things. You know, he's a legend. But he said something that actually really pissed me off on Twitter or on Computer and Video Games website that was retweeted by them. Something. Anyway, and he was saying how the second-hand gaming market was crushing developers and the gaming industry. And I just had to tweet back and say, you know, that's bollocks. He complained about how people would buy a game, play it, finish it, and take it back the next day. And I just thought, I tweeted back and said, well then make a game that we want to play more than once. His reply to that was, well, I like story-based games that you only play once. But I just was so totally unimpressed. And the thing is, if you can complete a game in a day, I think you damn well deserve to take it back. It's crap. It's really crap. But I do understand the point he made about it is bad for the games industry if people buy a game and then take it back really, really quickly, sell it back, whatever, and get the next one. Because the profits of the publishers, developers or whatever mainly are based in like the first few days to week. That's when all the main sales happen. And so if people are taking the games back really quickly and the market is getting flooded with second-hand games still within that main sales period, yes, that will harm the publishers, and I do get that, because that's not something other industries have to deal with. I mean, yeah, you've got a second-hand car industry and a second-hand God knows what washing machine industry, but, you know, there's usually at least a year or a month, something, before the things get sold second-hand, where the games industry is suffering because people take it back really quickly. And that, I think, is a valid point. I do think if you can finish a game within a day, or even within a week, it's actually pretty piss poor, and they should try harder and make a better game that's bigger and will take your, you know, will occupy a gamer for a bit longer than that. But here's the thing. All that aside, valid point being second-hand stuff being put back on the market really quickly is bad for the industry. What I think, and this is just an idea to knock about, would be a good idea, solve this problem a little bit so that you don't have people like Sony and Microsoft putting in anti-second-hand crap into their hardware so that it doesn't go all download only, and so that game shops second-hand that do second-hand stuff can survive and still stay in business. They need to do a deal, the retailers with the developers stroke publishers, whatever. They need to do a deal. They need a gentleman's agreement. Don't accept or don't sell second-hand games within a set period from their release date. Say a month, or I'm sure the developers would like longer, 6 months or a year, something. That's for them to decide. Have a set period where the market won't be flooded with second-hand copies of a brand new game. That's common. It seems to me that would be common sense. They won't be destroying their own market. Developers would be happy. Retailers wouldn't lose out. They would still get to sell second-hand stuff. They would just have a little bit of a gap. And maybe they'd sell a few more brand new games. It seems like a logical thing to do. Just a thought. Gentlemen's agreements are so much better than companies going out of business, it seems to me. Whether that's developers or retailers or hardware manufacturers, because they're all doing quite badly at the moment. They need to sit down and talk about it and be sensible and put their egos away. Okay, other things that have happened. Jack, I'm going to pronounce it Tramiel. It might be Tramiel. I do know it's not Tramiel. Died last weekend, something like that. Founder of Commodore. I mean, what does that mean to me? I didn't know the guy personally, obviously. I can't claim some degree of personal grief at the loss, but I can recognize that the industry has lost an iconic character. He was responsible for a great deal within the computer and gaming industry. And some things directly, some indirectly. The Commodore PET, that was his idea of taking home computers at that time were astronomically expensive. I mean, the Apple II was thousands. It was, I don't know, it was bloody expensive anyway. And he made what really was an inferior machine, but made it cheaper. If I remember correctly. I probably ought to research that and have some facts and figures in front of me, but I don't. But yes, he was kind of like the American Clive Sinclair. He brought computing to the masses, made it affordable. Started out with pretty unimpressive hardware, and it gradually improved over time. And even though he eventually left Commodore before they bought the Amiga, we probably wouldn't have the Amiga in the form we have it if it wasn't for Jack. And that to me counts for a lot, because Commodore bought it, and if it wasn't for Jack there would have been no Commodore. So you know, the hardware might have existed in some form, but who would have bought it? Atari funded the Amiga project, and that was Jack. His plan to actually snap it up cheap at the end of the development process didn't work because Commodore grabbed it. But you know, if it wasn't for him, and in fact his very dubious business practices, we wouldn't have the Amiga. And that to me means an awful lot, because that's just one of my absolute favourite pieces of gaming hardware. And then of course he got everything that Atari did after he took over. I won't say about the 7800 because he actually put that on hold for ages. That should have come out much sooner. But anyway, yes, I mean things like the ST. I'm an Amiga man, so I don't actually give a crap about the ST, but there it is, lots of people love it. And the Jaguar, failed, flawed, but I love it. There is a great deal to be grateful to Jack Tramiel for. whatever his business practices may have been, I mean, he was absolutely a hard-nosed businessman. He was not fair in the way he did business, no doubt about it. But it worked for him, and it resulted in us getting some great machines. And for that, I personally am very thankful. And my gaming history, my gaming pleasure over the years would have been very different if it weren't for Jack. So yeah, whatever kind of person he may have been, and I'm obviously, I don't know what he was like as a person, no idea. I do know that he mattered a great deal to gaming and computing over the years, and so his passing deserves note, mention, something. He mattered. Moving on, I had other stuff to talk about and I can't bloody remember what. Yeah, I'm trying to think, am I going, rambling. Alright, no actual shout out today, or at least not of a channel, because I haven't been paying attention to the what's going on YouTube. I'm totally out of touch with it at the moment. I will be getting back into it and then we'll do shout-outs. But what I do have is a magazine to mention. Some of you, plenty of you, lots of you I hope, will be familiar with Lorfarius, Keith. And he has over a couple of years or whatever been involved with a magazine, Nesbit magazine. I've met Keith a couple of times, saw him at Blackpool last year. He was selling Nesbit there and I met him, bumped into him the year before as well. Very nice chap. So he's can't put a bloody sentence together. How out of practice am I? Yeah, he's involved now in a new project, and I'm going to turn the thing around here so you can have a look. I can't see, am I pointing at the thing right? Yeah, here we go. Pixel Nation, which he's now involved with, which is a book come magazine. I believe it's quarterly. Retro Gaming is... I can't tell you a lot else actually. I know Retrosofer has done a video in a fair bit of detail about this. I'll link to that. I recommend if you want to know. Well, if you want to know more, go along, check it out and maybe buy the thing. But it's retro gaming. It looks really cool. It looks high quality from what I can see here. Yeah, high quality quarterly book series, 100 full color glossy pages, independently produced publication. Pixel Nation, well, pixel-nation.co.uk, and there's other stuff here as well on this here website. So do check that out, because I do think independently produced magazines, books and whatnot on the subject are a really good thing, because you get the enthusiasm of someone who is really actually into the subject, rather than just doing it as a job. Yeah, I could talk about that, but I won't. I would upset people. But I recommend going and checking that out. Alright, links down there as usual. Closing comments. Yes, trying to think. God, got to get back into practice. I've forgotten how I do these things, though it is actually really quite refreshing coming back to making videos after a break. It's like having a blank sheet. I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to sit and waffle and it's going to be shoddy, and that's just how it is. I do have something coming up though. Back here behind me, I did a little bit of shopping on eBay during the past month, and some other stuff that I had already. I got some plug and play type things like that. I mean, it just looks like a joypad, but it's not. It's called a Ventura. It's a plug and play famiclone. I've got another famiclone thing. I know a few people have got these. That thing there, yeah, And this here is like a N64 shaped famiclone with built-in light gun. And is that, yes, and I've got one of these, an Atari Flashback Mark 1. So I got all of those. Actually, the light gun famiclone thing I was given as a Christmas present a couple of years ago. But the other things, the famiclones and the flashback, I bought, oh God, 99p for the joypad thing. I think I paid a £5 for the flashback, and about the same, I think, for that other silver thing. So I'm going to do videos of those, because they're interesting and noteworthy for different reasons. Yeah, I mean the flashback in particular is interesting. I have actually spoke to the, some time ago, the guy who engineered it or designed it or whatever and runs the company that builds them. He emailed me, oh God, it's around nearly a year ago, about a project that he was working on, and actually came to me and asked my opinion on, which was really cool. I don't know what happened to that project. I was sworn to secrecy, but then it never happened. Shame. Can't remember his name, but if you're watching, what happened to that? Because I was interested and it's not happened. What have I got down my t-shirt? Crumbs. Yeah, so that's what's coming up. I'm going to do videos of those hardware things. I still have lots of games given to me by lots of people, and I will intersperse my videos with those. Yeah, lots and lots of stuff to do. I'm going to do a new collection video. I will be starting on that very soon. I had another bloody topic. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, actually I remember what it was, and I hadn't formed it completely in my head, so I didn't really do it. I was bidding on a thing. It was damn difficult to do because I was bidding on it while I was in Scarborough and my connection there was piss poor. It was a EACA Colour Genie. Now I've got one of those already, but it doesn't work, which is a shame. It powers up and everything, but the screen is just blank. So one of those came up on eBay and I was bidding on it. I mean, I can't afford it, I'm skint. But I thought, I've got an overdraft, fuck it, I'll use it. I got outbid anyway, it's probably just as well. I couldn't afford it, but it's one of those, I wanted it. And it kind of got me thinking, what other systems are there? There are a number of systems that I would love to get, and this is why I didn't do this, because though I know there are other systems I would love to get and I would bid on if I saw them, I can't actually remember what they are, and that's why I didn't do it. But yes, that Colour Genie, I was kind of gutted that I got outbid, and it was in the last 8 seconds I got outbid, and I was quite gutted because it's weird actually. I mean, things like the Jupiter Ace, there were 8,000 of those made that I'm aware of, and they sell for like £300-400. They are rare and they're incredibly desirable, and they sell for crazy money. And then you've got things like that Colour Genie, which are rarer, or at least they come up on eBay less. There's usually a Jupiter Ace on eBay. There's rarely a Colour Genie. You'll get 2 or 3 a year. But they don't sell for as much, and I find that kind of interesting. And I think it's because lots of people remember the Jupiter Ace. It was like, oh, that's that weird black and white British-made computer that used 4th instead of BASIC. And people remember it because it was quirky. And though there are significantly less of the Colour Genie, making them a good deal rarer, I think people just don't remember it. It was like a Hong Kong-made TRS-80 colour computer, not quite clone because it's not compatible, that just passed everyone by, so no one remembers it, so it's not uber desirable, even though it's uber rare. But I would have loved to have got hold of that, because you can't find videos on YouTube of games for that, though games aren't hard to find as downloads, and you know, you do your WAV file conversion type thing and play it like a tape. Yeah. Train of thought derailed. fallen down the embankment, rolled over, killed all the passengers. I shall shut up now. Yeah. Glad to be back. I know lots of people have messaged me and said, come on, make videos, we're missing you. And thank you to all those of you who have sent messages, because it does mean a lot to me. It's nice to know people enjoy what I'm doing. It's nice to know people notice you're not there, which obviously isn't why I wasn't here. I needed a break. God, here I am. I say I'm going to shut up and then I don't. But anyway, yes, thank you to all those of you who have sent messages on one format or another, however, wherever, thing, blah. There are people who've sent messages that I haven't replied to yet. I have been away. I have read them, I haven't replied. I will reply, honest, if I can find them buried in the pile of messages. My apologies if I don't reply. I just lost the message somewhere. That's what happens when you're away. Go watch my Scarborough video. It's cool, it's kind of creepy. I walk around the Grand Hotel in the middle of the night and I put a slightly creepy backing track music thing to it, because it was kind of creepy. You're in a massive great big hotel in the middle of the night, walking down corridors and along balconies, and there's no one around except that one guy down in the main hallway bit. I was so trying to make it look completely deserted, and then this guy comes and walks up to me and wants to know what I'm doing. I cut that bit out, but there's a bit where you can see him walking around. But that was kind of weird. There I am walking down this big grand staircase with a camera in my hand. He's like, what are you doing? I said, home movies. And he's like, oh, okay. Didn't tell him I was putting it on YouTube. Right. Shutting up. Thank you for watching.